7:10 in the morning, and we have decided to head to the Bonneville Salt Flats. We are out here in the Great Salt Lake Desert on our way to the Bonneville Salt Flats. We are about 30 minutes away from our stopping location here. Along the side of the highway, there's a massive concrete tree back here, and it's 87 feet tall. It's called Metaphor, or also the Tree of Life, but it was designed by Swedish artist Carl Moman. And basically the idea was that it'd bring some life to this desolate landscape. Really like nothing around except just flatness. And then you can see the mountain ranges very far off in the background. So a little bit of a different landscape for us here than what we had for most of our trip. As the name suggests, Great Salt Lake Desert, there are chunks of salt out here. In fact, there's salt everywhere. On our way here, we were passing the Great Salt Lake. There were essentially salt mills, like Morden Salt, for example, was off the side of the highway, and they just had piles of salt next to their processing facility. Here's a chunk of salt that I just picked up off the ground, and you can find clumps like these all over. There's a fence that runs all the way around this thing, though they have the front gate open. What you probably notice here is it's covered in locks and honestly trash. They're like socks tied to this fence, old masks, some dirty sandals. The idea with the locks is that they're love locks. People that are traveling together and, you know, in a relationship or something, they will put locks on the fence to symbolize their lasting love out in the desert or something. Not really quite my thing, but it's kind of neat to see that, and it's definitely a little bit different. There's also a ton of trash that they tied to this fence, so that's not quite so neat.
There's also a ton of broken glass out here. Just as far as you can see, it's just broken glass, and I bet it's probably some sort of tradition to throw glass bottles up at the tower. It's kind of interesting to see. I mean, it's just covered in broken glass.
We are at the Bonneville Salt Flats State Park, and we are now driving through the Salt Flats, which is pretty cool. You could pretty much drive anywhere, but there are like quite a few trails that branch off from the state park head, and we're just following one of those. It almost looks like there's snow on the ground in the middle of July here. And we are not in a four-wheel drive off-road vehicle either, so luckily it doesn't seem like it's wet out here. Otherwise we'd get stuck. So food for thought. We have now parked in the middle of the Salt Flats. It's really cool out here, and honestly it's like really quiet too. You almost hear no noise. For it being just salt crusting the ground, there is life out here. There are tons of bugs for some reason, unfortunately. What we're stepping on now, and you might be able to hear it crunch, is salt. I mean, it's just crusted salt on the surface of this ground, and it's everywhere. And we're on a trail here, so it's a little bit more packed down, but we're just gonna walk off into the salt here. This is just the top surface of the salt flats, and it's literally just crusted salt, and you can break it off real easy. It's not very thick either. I'm probably like 1/8 of an inch thick, but that's just a crusty layer of salt. Bonneville Salt Flats extend for 30,000 acres, so this is a very massive expanse of salt plains. Bonneville is also known for the Bonneville Speedway, which is on the northeast portion, and that's where like amateur racers go to break the speed barrier, basically, because you can speed across these plains, so they are kind of known for racing as well. The federal government owns the vast majority of this land, and they actually use it for storage depots and testing sites, and the 1945 crew that dropped the atom bomb actually tested out here. As far as finding actual crystals out here, we haven't found any, and I don't think you're supposed to dig out here either, so we really haven't tried. We've just kind of been looking along the surface, and I don't know too much on finding actual crystals out here besides, you know, the salt crystals, which are not super solid. It's a very neat place to be. There are people that will drive in every once in a while. This was definitely worth driving out here, and I recommend you check it out. It's a very cool place.